you look at the Cubs starters over the course of that stretch of July 1st, lead the majors in starters, ERA, opponents' batting average against the starters, opponents' OBP. So that's the thing that's kept them in the game.
What's going on, everybody? John here with you. It's a doing out there today. We should have a really good one on tap on this hump day, as it's the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Chicago Cubs. So first off, for the Brewers, managed by bench boss Pat Murphy, they're 79-47. Sal Frelick in right, Isaac Collins in left. Lynn Contreras will be in the middle of the order. Catching, batting right, Christian Yelich will be the DH, will be the cleanup man. Andrew Vaughn at first, Anthony Siegler at third, and then 7, 8, 9 will be Bryce Terang in second, Blake Perkins in center field, and Joey Ortiz at short. Looks like you have a good mix of switch left and right for Pat Murphy to be able to signify backup catcher with Andrew Monasterio in the infield. Caleb Durbin's going to get the day off at third, and then Brandon Lockridge is their extra outfielder. Jacob Mizorowski will be the pitcher of record today. The 23-year-old has lightning in those hands. He's 4-1, 3.89 ERA, 113 WHIP. He's pitched 34 2/3 innings, 22 hits, 15 earned runs, 17 walks, 50 strikeouts in 34 2/3 innings. So fastball, slider predominantly. He will throw a curve and changeup. 87 is the slope. Plus on the fastball, no stranger to triple digits. So we'll see what he's got today. And for the Cubs, again, they are home at Wrigley. They are 72-54. They did win the last couple of games in that doubleheader yesterday after the rainout. So they're trying to go for 3 out of 4. Brewers win today, they will get the split in this 4-game series. Cubs are 72-54, managed by Craig Counsell. It's Michael Busch at first, Ian Happ in left, and Seiya Suzuki the DH. Now you notice Ian Happ moves up in the lineup because Kyle Tucker has had a miserable July. He only had 1 extra base hit, and he's got 7 hits in totality. So they're giving because he's an absolute beast, but not right now. Pete Crow-Armstrong will clean up, play center field. He's spectacular. Former Tiger and All-Star Carson Kelly will catch and bat fifth. Nico Horner, 6th, plays second base. And then Owen Casey, Dansby Swanson, and Matt Shaw in right, shortstop, and third base, respectively, left, right bats. Reese McGuire will be the backup catcher. Again, you have Kyle Tucker in the outfield and Willie Castro, the utility man, with the 40-year-old elder statesman Justin Turner, Dodger legend. He's only played 64 games. He will be in the bench today if needed. Colin Ray will be the starter, as we are just another moment away from really getting set. The 35-year-old had spent the 3 previous seasons with the Milwaukee Brewers, so we'll see if his former teammates know his arsenal well enough, as they should. His ERA is just under 4, with a 1.28 WHIP, 121 2/3 innings pitched, 123 hits. So you want to get those down. 54 runs, 33 walks, 90 strikeouts. So not a lot of walks. He will find the strike zone, and he features 7 different pitches today. So run your way as a fastball just up top to Sal Frelick. Make it 0-1. Now for Sal, whether it's MLB The Show or not, I like to sing his praises because he is a 5-tool guy. He's an all-around player. Doesn't remotely excel in any area, but he's really not bad at anything either. In right field, that's where he's best. He does have 18 stolen bases. Again, for my first look for this season, what I really noticed for Pat Murphy's squad is the plethora amount of steals that this team has. They are not afraid to go. And he struck out on a fastball. He offered a little bit high out of the zone, about 3 inches, and that's going to cost him. So Sal Frelick goes down early. So it doesn't strike out all that much. Again, for Sal, that's just his 59th in 110 games as we're started. Again, my stats might be off a game considering the doubleheader, but I think we're pretty much where we need to be, as Isaac Collins takes a ball that was middle, and he'll just go ahead and take it. So again, 102 games. This is the start today as he's hitting 377. I don't think that is the right one from what I got. I got 284 for Isaac Collins. 8 home runs, 41 RBI, 41 walks, 75 strikeouts, 13 stolen bases. So again, 280. So again, I have the right numbers there. They had the wrong graphic play across. So for Colin Ray, he's now 2-1 behind Isaac Collins. Again, he had 13 stolen bases for the 28-year-old. This is a hanging changeup that will be fouled down the first base line. Make it 2-2. So not every Wrigleyville has made it to their seats just yet, but this is a pivotal matchup in the NL Central. Again, the Milwaukee Brewers, before this game essentially started and getting swept the other day by the Cubs, they had about 14 the last 16, and Colin Ray is getting people to offer about 5 inches outside the zone. That time on a curveball got Collins. So guys that don't normally strike out, Frelick and Collins, at 59 and 76 now with the updated stats. They're down on punches outside the zone. So this will be pitch number 9 now as when Contreras gets in, we'll see if the Brewers go quietly. 260 for Contreras, and he's very late on a 96 fastball, so Ray's velocity is right where it needs to be. Nothing too overpowering, but if you're about 95, 96, that's where old Justin Verlander would be when he was still able to locate with the Astros. Like the Nico Horner, no problem. Throws over to Bush. That's an easy 1-2-3 for Colin Ray. We'll come back, call bottom first.
Start with a great night's sleep. Thanks to doing Natros and the store. Good job to me. This week, never a great night's sleep. Start with Natros.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Genge when you need protection of fat. Easy, baby, lots of fast, baby.
Let me get Ian in here.
Just one intelligence. That's why you need a real deal. Go on, baby. Do a podcast or something. That's very cool. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
To test the toughness of the 3-row Kia Sorento X-Pro and the Kia Sorento Turbo Hybrid, we recreated some of the wettest spring.
Hello, Mr. Ott.
How are we doing, Ian Genge?
Doing good. Just now. I saw that. Did your Tigers sweep the Astros?
We spanked them pretty good, yes.
I saw. By the way, a few weeks ago I was on one of your broadcasts and I was talking about how darn near half of the wins the Royals had were all by 1 run. Well, I think you understand my plight, given the win from yesterday.
Yeah, there's a lot of the stuff that can take years off your life, but since we've last talked, Ian, on the last weekend side, the Royals are trying to go for 6 wins in a row now, and they're looking pretty good. I mean, think about everybody else that's losing in the wild card. Seattle's kind of falling apart, some losses, and now, depending on what happens in this weekend series, Kansas City could find themselves in a WC spot in the American League.
Yeah, it's, of course, to quote urinating tree, the Seattle Mariners are once again, say with me, punching their fans in the what.
I texted Cooper the other day, and I said, don't worry, the Tigers got you on the sweep against the Astros. Just get one. And they gave up 20 hits today, and that was ugly.
I feel so bad.
Yeah, I want to see them make it, but I mean, it's If we can get the Red Sox out, you get the Royals in, and then get Seattle in, that's fine. But you just hate to see them crash and burn when it gets late in the season because it makes me think about the Red Wings all the time in March and teams that good. So Mizorowski 4 pitches into his day, as this is a flyout right to Blake Perkins from Michael Bush, and it'll bring up Ian Happ. There's a name that we can talk about here, Ian, that I'm really not sure what to say, but Kyle Tucker, again, third consecutive day off. In July, he had just 8 hits, and one of them was for extra bases, and he has just hit the struggle button. Someone who King Tuck affectionately in Houston was absolutely dominant, but he's just not in the lineup because he's struggling.
Well, a struggling hitter in the outfield. Gee, I'm surprised the Royals didn't trade for him.
Ouch.
Who might be kidding? They went for Mike Yastrzemski, which apparently was the best choice.
We're going to see this weekend because I was looking at the Saturday side and it's Chris Paddock pitching for the Tigers. So I think you're going to enjoy yourself on. We won't, but we'll see the way that goes because he's been the punching bag. But Charlie Morton and Kyle Finnegan have been pretty good from those Tigers pickups, even though they went trash bin hunting, as I've said. Finnegan's kind of locked stuff down with Vest, and Charlie Morton was excellent today as 101 blows away Ian Happ, 2 down.
Well, apparently something has been working because from what we thought could be a fall off goes to just sweeping the AL West leading Astros. Why don't you?
Yeah, now I'm not going to take that lightly. Regardless, I understand what happened to the Astros. 2 out of 3 against Baltimore where they got shut out, and then you kind of had that against the Tigers. 7-2. I'm taking the wins. I'm just going to say AJ Hinch likes to beat up against his former team because since he's been with the Tigers, the Astros, not much of a problem. As they wait for Seiya Suzuki. And now this is a pitching duel. When I looked at this on the MLB RotoWire lineups, they have the over-under at 6.5. Now, I think that could be low, but that's depending on what Colin Ray does. Because when we're talking about Jacob Mizorowski, again, my first look at him, he's got absolute lightning in those arms. He's just going 101 right at Seiya Suzuki. And he follows a second straight fastball at 0-2. But I've been wanting to watch what the Brewers have been doing for a while. Cubs got a couple of wins yesterday. I want to see how good that they are. I mean, these are 2 teams that we expect to do damage in the National League, but God forbid they play against each other. Only one of them is going to be able to advance, and we'll see what happens in the grand scheme of things with the Phillies and the Dodgers. But as Ian and I profiled last week in the broadcast between the Dodgers and Padres, I kind of take the Padres and turn them down a couple notches. I don't think them as serious of a team, even though their record is good. 96 will back away. Suzuki. But
I'll say this real quick. Regardless, right now the Phillies and the Dodgers are playing for second place in second place in the National League. I don't see Milwaukee going on such a collapse where they lose first place. I don't.
I don't see that, but I wonder as we go across, Ian, if Milwaukee is going to be one of those teams that probably goes to the NLCS and then loses because they don't have the household names. We'll see. And this is caught by Blake Perkins. That ball was hit pretty hard, but Mizorowski able to keep it in the ballpark. Both teams go 1, 2, 3. We'll call the second when we come back. Is that fair to say about Milwaukee, or are you still kind of thinking that they could be a little bit more than the NLCS?
Well, okay. When teams have a year like this, you expect them to do more than what their past than what their past reputation suggests. I mean, they were bad.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, let's not sugarcoat it. They got mollywopped by the Yankees, and then were looking to be just mediocre. And then something happened. Whether it of getting a lights out pitcher from the minors,
Right.
getting just the bats coming to life, whatever that was, the Washington Nationals in 2019 had this kind of year, but they got to the wild card. If the Brewers don't do it this year, getting to the World Series, hell, even winning, maybe with the young pitching, they can eke out a few more years, but I think this might be their best year, given the fact their front office doesn't really spend that much.
I think you might be right. I agree with you on the pitching 100%. I think that's where they're able to hold their hat on, because we've seen that for years with the Brewers, whether or not they've had some lineup collapses down the end road, which you're absolutely right about, but their starting pitching has been excellent. When you get somebody, again, I've only seen the 3 outs there from Mizorowski throwing 102, 103. I mean, that just doesn't fall out of a tree. And hopefully, when I see guys like that, they don't blow their arm out, because I don't know how you can get maximum velocity. It's a much different game from 20 years ago, but your points are well taken.
If you want just a history lesson for the listeners that may be listening, just go back about. Hang on, I'll do the math in my head. Go ahead and call the inning.
So Christian Yelich is now the DH. Again, the longtime Marlin, now part for the Brewers as well. Again, but even stay on both. And it's going to be the DH because of a lot of the speed that they have in the outfield. I'm going to pull back up in my notes here. As we have, Isaac Collins, Blake Perkins, again, Jackson Churio will be coming back, but this is a 4-pitch walk, so it looks like Ray didn't want anything to do with it. Right now, Ethan Conrad, the first overall pick from this year, 17th at least, is being interviewed by John Sciambi in the Cubs part of the broadcast. So if he lays anything out there, I'll throw it to you. But it is Christian Yelich with the walk to start the second, and then Andrew Vaughn will play first. We'll be up here next. Anthony Ziegler, Caleb Durbin is going to get the day off at third. So that's your reset there. It's 94 high up top to make it 1-0 against Vaughn. So for Andrew Vaughn, the former White Sox, he is hitting .325 since the exchange over at the deadline. And Colin Ray has had 5 of the first 6 pitches in the second inning miss the strike zone. It's now 1-1. Still got some power in that legs and the bat and everything else. 14 home runs, 54 RBI, 20 walks. This one into the hands shouldn't be any problem for PCA, as he has a couple of stretch arms. And Christian Yelich thought about taking some steps towards second base, and PCA unleashed the hose. And Christian Yelich telling you just got back about a step and a half. So he'll think about that better next time. That's always fun on MLB The Show, when you can kind of take those runners. Over the last few years, they kind of tune that down in the game. But if the PCA, you don't want to take too many steps, you might be canned at first. And Christian Yelich was a step and a half away from doing so. So Anthony Ziegler now will be the next batter number 6. Ethan Conrad just said he bought a Mercedes as his layover there from getting the call. The guy that's drafted, and then you have to pay so much compensation, right? Sometimes just even talk to them or agree to get signed. The dude said he wanted to bought a Mercedes. So there you go. You got some money for your Ethan Conrad, as it's a 1-1, and this on curveball from Ray. Sorry, I was a little bit all over myself as I try to get these notes. Didn't eat anything just yet, so that's probably why. But 1-1, fastball just outside, about 6 inches at 95, make it 2-1. So Ray had a 7-pitch first inning. This one is a little more inflated. He's missing a lot more. Have not been to Wrigley Field, but I would definitely like to. One of those alongside echelon of the old ballparks. You want to keep those long as much as you can. Throw over from first, and Yelich will dive back safely.
Growing up, did you get a chance to go to a big league game?
Yeah, we went to the
Again, batting .213. Notes a little bit off from the doubleheader of yesterday. 95, nothing to think about. Starting to get a little wild here is Ray. About 5-6 inches off the plate, missing on some of these fastballs. Again, topping about 95, 96, so velocity is good. You got locked back in here. You don't want the bottom of the order to burn you. A lot of the guys, as I said in the collective in the first, have a ton of stolen bases. Most of them average about 15 to 18 for the conglomerate of a whole team. So that kind of tells you nobody's afraid to run. So Yelich, this is the second disengagement. So this means if Ray's going to try to get him, he must get him, or he's going to get an automatic lead. Because he waits on the 3-1 with Siegler. Now it's a 3-step lead here for Yelich, who does not go. And to think about on these last couple of fastballs, so 2 walks and 1 flyout to start this second inning, and that's going to bring out the pitching coach of the Chicago Cubs, and we'll get a little meeting on the mound.
So I was going to say, for any listeners who were not watching baseball over a decade ago, 17 years ago was when the Brewers swung for CC Sabathia to finish out the season in what became one of the greatest stretches of pitching by a starter in MLB history. And you know what? Since then, the Brewers have just found a way to get pitching, just elite pitching. And you know what? It's like, oh, you know what? We're going to trade away Corbin Burns. Oh, crap. Everyone's mad about that. 2 years later, have this kid that throws 100 miles an hour on every fastball.
Right, and you're not joking, Ian. And again, when you say that, as far as the CC Sabathia trade, he was only there for 1 year. He was phenomenal when they were able to get him over there. And then you had Zach Greinke as well. Again, now Brewers no stranger to pitching. I think your points are well taken about some of the postseason heartbreak, but they've always had the arms. And if you're any of these other 29 MLB teams, you got to feel quite jealous.
I will say though, the Royals are right now content with their pitching, especially because their rookie starter for this year, Noah Cameron, just hit his 100 inning mark.
Yeah, you're right about the Royals. I think that's the one thing, especially from the World Series, we talked about that and their bullpen to get back-to-back appearances and win one. As it's a 2-1, a fastball was center cut for Bryce Terang, make it 2-2. Now Ray's just trying to get back into the strike zone against his former team over the last 3 seasons. Bryce Terang, 21 stolen bases, so again another threat. 13 home runs, 61 RBI, about season. So not a lot of swing and miss on this team collectively, as this one is a back foot fastball that will send Terang spiking out of the plate, and it's 3-2. So in danger of walking 3 in the second inning. This is all Ray's own doing here, as you got Christian Yelich at second. Who's that lead runner? Curveball, not gonna get the call. Again, might want to call a ball just a few inches outside the zone to the right side of the plate, but base is loaded now for the Milwaukee Brewers. And we'll leave it up to Blake Perkins with 1 out. So I'm going to look at this as far as the play-by-play on the ESPN box as we were talking. So you got Vaughn lining out the center, but you got Christian Yelich, Siegler, and Bryce Terang all walk. And now Colin Ray's got to figure out what to do here against Blake Perkins. He's only played 20 games this season because of the injury, but he's got a ton of speed as he's playing center field today. 27 strikeouts in 25 games played. is the one guy in this lineup that you probably could get by punch out. Now, unless you can get a double play and get out of this. 3 walks. This could be dangerous. As 89 on a changeup will miss outside. Now, this is not quite what we saw last week with Dylan Cease. He walks in the second inning. If he gets damaged a little bit here, it definitely could be. 88 on a curveball. No place to put him. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. These misses are not by a ton, but they're significant enough where the Brewers can lay off. 2-1. 95 on the inside black. That was his best pitch of the inning. There was 7 pitches in the first, and it's about 25 now in the second. Still working with 1 out and the bases loaded in a 2-2 count. Ray delivers quickly. Changeup not close. It's a full count with the bases loaded, 1 out in the second. Brewers are threatening with a big inning. 3 walks in this second. Full count pitch coming. Here's a ground ball. Nico Horner, he cannot throw to second. He had to play that off the bounce. So the Brewers will get 1 on the ground out. That's a 1-0. It was a ground ball hop, and Nico Horner made the right decision. He had to go right to first. He didn't even think about second because he didn't want to concede a second run. Early, but there's no reason to try to do that right now. And it's down at the bottom of the order in Joey Ortiz, 232 average before we turn over. If Ray can get out of those 3 walks, only giving up 1 run, he would absolutely take it, and he's about to do so. Dansby Swanson underneath it makes the catch. That could have been a lot worse. Brewers do score 1. They don't even have to get a hit. It's 1-0 as we go bottom 2.
Did you know people are 90% more likely to eat breakfast when they're with their crew? And at Wendy's, you can all have 2 of your select faves for just $3. Everyone gets what they want. Yeah, I totally made up that stat. $3 breakfast? Yeah, Wendy's.
So it's Yelich, Siegler, and Terang. So when you get 3 walks and a ground out, that means a run scores without a hit, and that's where we are right now. 1 run for the Brewers. Pete Crow-Armstrong, Carson Kelly, Nico Horner, 4-5-6 will be due up against Jacob Mizorowski. If the Brewers win today, they will get a series split. If the Cubs win today, it'll be 3-1 in this latest season series against the Milwaukee Brewers. So turn this TV. Music copyrighted after the commercials. It should be safe now. So 87 on a changeup, and that is how we start the second inning for Jacob Mizorowski. So fastballs under 95 get slugged at 278, but at 100 plus, it's 180. It's about as mainstream of a stat as you can get from the Marquee Sports Network for the Cubs. But if you throw harder, it's harder to hit, and that should not come as a surprise. Pete Crow-Armstrong, I'll say this about him. We always knew that he was going to be elite with the wheels in defense, but if you thought the bat was going to come around so quickly for the 23-year-old, I think a lot of us would have been surprised. This is game number 124. He's hitting 260. He's got 80 RBIs and almost 30 home runs. He's got 27. He's got a little bit of swing and miss in his game. What a Cubs do with 124 strikeouts, but he's still hitting 259 and 100 on the fastball is followed straight back for PCA. But there really isn't anything he can't do, and that's one of the bigger reasons why the Chicago Cubs have a 72-54 record. He's an absolute stud, and he will be for a while, at least with his defense and speed. That's never going to go away. 87 will be right to Terang. We'll toss over to Andrew Vaughn, and PCA goes down quietly off the ground out. The former Tiger, Carson Kelly, who has been well-traveled. Again, he's only played 86 games on the season. He's got his career best. He's batting 265. I believe he got an all-star nod after some injury designations, or sometimes guys choose not to go. But he's been pretty good this year. Again, 13 home runs, 40 RBI. And he's batting in the middle of that order, 99. He'll be followed straight back and amongst the screen. And it really is, at least if you're Mizorowski, you know the fastball is coming against his opposing hitters. But if you can kind of wait on a changeup and get lucky here, if he throws it, that's really more of a two-pitch pitcher. He will mix in 3 or 4. I'll pull back into the notes. 96, he pulled back on that one. That's just soft toss. He does have a curve and changeup, but it's more than 80% of the time fastball. So you're really not going to get much of the off speed. You better be ready to hit it. But if you do find something with a little bit of a hitch, you got to get out in front and try to drive it across that ivy. Easier said than done. One on the black. See you later, Carson Kelly. You just watched it go by like a house on the side of the road. Nothing he's going to be able to do there. That's 100 painted on the top left of the black. And Jacob Mizorowski knew it too. That was all zone. And that was serious heat, as it's now Nico Horner batting in the 6th hole for the Cubs. Nico Horner is one of the very best. You think about him, it's Luis Arraez with the bat, but he's also got the defensive skills in the wheels. He's just got more tools than Arraez does. Again, Arraez probably strike out even a little bit less, as Horner's got 36. Arraez probably more every year, but Nico Horner is an excellent ball player. 96 followed straight back at 0-1. Jacob Mizorowski, I am just enjoying what I'm watching here. Again, this is my first look at the young man, but just crazy to see how elite his fastball is. It does look like Justin Verlander here for Terang as he throws it over for a hustling Mizorowski, and that is an easy first 6 outs as we go to the 3rd.
Exceptional nutrition fuels more than the days in your life. It fuels the life in your days. Fuel for life.
Sorry here, and the Nissan and this to the road that offers more standard power than CRV in Tucson. Frontier with a standard V6 unlike Tacoma and an IIHS top safety pick club like Pathfinder or
Refresh this for the notes. I think we should be good here. I had to just reload. If this will work.
This is how summer rolls. Right now, no qualified FCA employee receives can lease a 2025 Jeep Wrangler Willys 4xe for $259 a month. Don't miss this great offer. See your Metro Detroit Jeep Wrangler.
Give me 1 second, guys.
You're the first pick overall. What kind of pressure goes along with that? I think pressure can only come from within. As long as you have faith in yourself, success or failure can only be measured in trying. What about you as CEO for you?
No point. I think it's the same thing. You put your head down and work to succeed. For us to save people money, we get like 400 views.
So you guys do the number one pick?
I was.
Sounds like.
Pure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Second straight day that Kyle Tucker is not in the lineup. I asked Greg Counsell before the game, do you have a plan right now for Kyle Tucker? Is it a day-by-day situation? And Greg did say that going into this, he expected to give Kyle 2 days off. It is a day-to-day situation, but he really thought a couple of days there he can get the mental reset, which is definitely a big part of this, but also there's that physical aspect. So he is working behind the scenes.
Apologize for that. I had to do a little housekeeping here for the online Microsoft Word to get the notes in here for the story. It was not loading, but it is 1 run on 3 walks and a ground out, as Ortiz was able to get the run in, as that's why the Brewers have a 1-0 lead. Jake Mazurowski, who just got finished with the bottom of the second, has had 6 easy outs. Colin Ray had thrown about 26 pitches in that second inning. Is going to go back to the top of the order here against Sal Frelick, as it's 1-2. Now, Frelick and Collins punched out to begin the ball game, and that's not something that they normally do, as 94 way outside. Not even anything to think about. It's 2-2. So it was just Frelick's 59th and Isaac Collins' 76th strikeout, not guys that normally punch out too many times. Craig Counsell did mention this one's hit pretty good by Frelick. It will split, but PCA, he'll call it off and command, and the outfield is a shit. And Frelick is put away. But Craig Counsell did come out and said, as I saw part of their interview, that they did plan off this doubleheader in this game today to give Kyle Tucker 2 days off to head into the next portion of the series before he jumps back into the lineup. So they're going to give him some time to think about everything. Some very dark clouds that I'm starting to see at Wrigley Field. Now, they said no threat of rain, so I'm hoping that's the case. Nico Horner will be tossed over to Isaac Collins from first to Michael Busch, and 2 up, 2 down to start third. William Contreras will be the last hope. William Contreras, the former Brave. This is 120 games played, 13 home runs, 61 RBI, 70 walks. So a lot of times you want to make sure that you locate against William, and not on that pitch with Colin Ray, but he did not swing. It was a hanging changeup middle that he just takes to split the plate. So if Ray does get out of this in the next 3 pitches, he'll be at a 15-pitch average of the first 3. This one is shot right toward right field. No problem. Colin Ray, that was an easy 1-2-3, just like the first. And we'll step aside, go bottom third, still 1-0.
Spending time with the ones you love is that's why we make grocery shopping. With Kroger Delivery, fresh, quality groceries are just a few taps away. Order on the app and get $20 off your first order. We will keep your groceries fresh in our refrigerated trucks and delivered to your door, so you can keep doing whatever you love. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Summer and gear at the Nissan and Summer sale.
When we get to the next portion of the fourth, I'll start to go across the MLB scoreboard and give you some scores. Appreciate anyone that's joined in and hopped in and out between the YouTube side. Now, admittedly, as I said, I was able to jump in on Saturday for the Royals and the Tigers. I do see there is rain threatening the area. If it is like 60-70% and they know that there's going to be rain, and we'll see what happens. I could probably do a Sunday game. I can't do Friday because it's on Apple TV. And it's not just because Chris Paddock is pitching. I just don't want to sit through a rain delay, because we could go MLB wraparound again. Saturday would be a good day for me to work, make sure that that's the case, because it'll be home alone essentially. So I really won't have any bothers. I can just work and kind of go through and do everything at my own pace for Saturday. So my plan is to make sure to work for that. And then as we go across, let's say Tuesday, there'll be a couple of game releases, but 2 weeks into September will be NHL 26 and NBA 2K. So I might have to step away for a little bit on the weekend to kind of get some of the NHL games as the game comes out, get some league games in, but we'll see. It should be pretty good. not going to miss anything as far as tangible stuff. And then we got to make sure that I get everything squared away for the Sharks and the start of the NHL season. So Jacob Mizorowski, he's going to try to go 1, 2, 3 through the order the first time. As Owen and Casey, the young man, the 23-year-old, this is game number 6 of his major league season. 286, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. So not a lot of tail of the tape for Owen Casey, but he's been pretty good. Jacob Mizorowski seems to be punching in a whole different weight class right now, as it's a swing and a miss on a curveball, make it 1 and 2. So the 286 average in game number 7 for Casey in the 7 hole, as 93 was awfully close. Could have been called on that changeup, but he did not get it. That was just not a good catch job in behind the plate for William Contreras. Otherwise, he would have been punched out. As the pitch clock down to 2 and 100 toward the hands, all Casey could do was follow it off. Now, at least, I'll say this on the scouting report with the iPads and everything else, when you know, as I said earlier, you're getting mostly heat, that can allow you to try to cheat the swing early. But if he throws Uncle Charlie or anything else, you're going to be grabbing pine. So it's awfully tough. 92 on a changeup. It was a bad miss. That makes it a full count. Dansby Swanson will be next regardless. He'll bat 8th. The former World Series champ with the Atlanta Braves is outside. So Mizorowski, first base runner here, essentially for the Cubs. That comes on a walk. When we look at the line here for Ray, so far Ray, 3 innings pitched, 3 walks, 1 earned run. And for Mizorowski, who just issued a walk, that is his first, with 2 punch-outs so far. So first base runner here for the Cubs. And it comes in Owen Casey with a walk at first. And here's a fake throw, but Casey's back. As Dansby's ahead in the count, make it 1-0. Dansby game number 124, about 250 average, 18 home runs, 57 RBI, 10 stolen bases. He's got 138 strikeouts. That is a arm that's made for this right now. It's one of the biggest totals on this team. Dansby trying to make sure that he does it, at least not hit into a double play. He's got 2-0 count leverage. A couple of fastballs just outside the zone. Ooh, this is toward the face of Dansby. And I want to see if he's able to get out of the way in time or whether or not he's going to get first base. Right now, it says 3-0. We knew it was going to be a ball anyway. He backed away, turned his face to the right just in time. Otherwise, that would have been an absolute disaster toward the bridge of the nose. Holy cats for Dansby Swanson. That was 98 toward the dome, and he was just able to turn away. Thank goodness. So they'll back away, and Dansby is going to get a few extra breaths. That was very dangerous for Mizorowski.
Hey, John, I'll be right back.
Go ahead. Yep. So 3-0. And now Dansby, this is a walk here to begin for Owen Casey. And way high, a couple of walks. Just as it was for Ray in the second now, a couple of walks have the Cubs in business as Mizorowski needs to lock back in the strike zone. That one toward Dansby again, I can't say it enough. That's 98 right toward the face. If he does not turn, the right part was broken and he's gotten blood everywhere at this point, because when you got an arm like that, you're going to be paying a price. He doesn't look the least bothered. And Matt Shaw, the young man, again, you had Owen Casey who just walked Dansby Swanson as well. Casey, the runner at second, Swanson at first. Shaw is just 23 years of age. He's at the bottom of the order. What's Matt Shaw going to do here? Leverage a bunt. This one is going to be toward the face again, and he bunts it down the third baseline foul. So Jacob Mizorowski, I'm not going to say Nolan Ryan challenged fastball, but he's really missing in spots that can be awfully dangerous. He bunted that high. That could have bounced back and hit Shaw in the chin. Pitch clock down to 1. 99. Getting close to buzz the tower again. Make it 1-1. So Jacob's having some control issues here, and that is dangerous when you throw as hard as he does. So 1-1 pitch. Shaw leverages the bunt, and this will just be an easy toss over. Throw over to second does not. So in the minors, walk rate was 14.2%, in the majors 12.1. So a little more swing and miss in the majors at 35.7 to 31.6, but the walks are kind of high. 2-1, can't bunt 100 again. This is cannonballed down the third base line, and we'll keep it going. 2-2. Now, as it was in the second, Ray had walked the bases loaded and a run had scored on a ground out. We'll see what the Cubs can do here. Still no outs with 2 walks in the bottom of the third. And toward the hands again down the third base line. So the ground out run was scored for Joey Ortiz off of no hits. And the Cubs could be threatening to do the same after walks at first and second. Casey at second, Swanson at first. Matt Shaw gets set to dig back in. He failed on the bunt twice, but it was at 100. It's hard to hit when it's high and tight. Again, he's waiting every time that it goes down to 1 to deliver his pitch. 99 toward the hands will back him away. And Mizorowski, who was completely unblemished and unfazed through 1, 2, 3 through the first and second, is in danger of walking the bases loaded straight in the third. Crowd's getting loud here at Wrigley. Challenge right down the middle. And we'll do it again. Mizorowski right now at 15 pitches per inning. But it's starting to climb here as he's thrown about 12 balls and I would say 8 strikes in this bottom of the third. Full count, no outs, runners at first and second. Cubs trying to get this back to a tie game. They're only down 1-0. Mizorowski's going to get this sign for William Contreras. A lot of leverage in that arm to create an extra flip by the time he throws. He's a tall, lengthy righty. Pitch number 45 gets set to deliver. 101, too close to take. And we will keep it going again. Matt Shaw with one hell of an at-bat so far. I know he failed on a couple of bunts, but he is fighting off the heat right now. Just getting a piece of the top of the knob. He was late, but it's hard to time those. 96 goes down low to fight it off. Excellent work for Matt Shaw, making Jacob Mizorowski sweat. Before they can get over to the top of the order for a second time around, fastball, slider, curve is all he saw. 94, slider, fouled back amongst the bricks. This is the 5th straight 3-2 as Mizorowski on his face. He loves the challenge right now, and I don't blame him for the young man. Both of these young guys giving some excellent work, as good as they get. 9-hole hitter in Matt Shaw. Jacob Mizorowski with the flamethrower. Again for Jacob, he's just 23. I believe this could be the 10th pitch battle here for Matt Shaw. Yeah, it was a foul ball and a slider. This one outside, it got a piece of him anyway. And the bases are loaded. It's 2 walks and a hit by pitch. And Michael Busch, one swing could be 4-0. This is inside. I thought I hit him, but he did back out of the way. That was a curveball missed inside. 3 straight walks for Jacob Misiorowski, much like Ray was in the second inning, and now everybody coming up to talk to Jacob. So it was a long meeting on the mound here. Jacob Misiorowski has walked the bases loaded, still no outs. It gives you Ray flashbacks in the second inning, but they only scored 1. Michael Busch, an absolute threat to hit a grand slam. We'll pull back up in the notes here as the Cubs get to the top of their order for a second time around. This is game 121 for Busch. He's got 24 tags on the season with 70 RBI, 110 strikeouts. Misiorowski not close on the curve, 2-0. Still nobody out. He's walked the bases loaded. He's got to find it here, and he's got at least Michael Busch and Ian Happ to deal with 1 and 2 after 7, 8, 9 have walked. Not close, 99, 3-0. Misiorowski starting to unravel. One pitch could maybe get 2 outs on a double play and only get 1 run, but you don't want to walk in the bases loaded still with no outs. 3-0. 99 dead center. That was an obligatory case because Misiorowski's got to find the strike zone 2 more times. And now it looks like he's having a conversation with William Contreras behind the plate. What does he feel comfortable throwing? Can he throw it straight? 3-1. 98. Lined. This one's going to split the gap. It's going to score a host of Cubs. Swanson wants his teammate coming across. Here's a slide across the plate. Shaw scores. Cubs score 3. The bases get unloaded. Michael Busch hits a double. It's 3-1 Cubs. So it's a 3-run double for Michael Busch. Still nobody out as this goes over to Terang, toss over to Vaughn, and finally get the first out of the third. I told you honestly, Jacob Misiorowski through the first 2 looked like he had lightning in a bottle. He couldn't get touched. And in this third inning, he's thrown has been the undoing so far, as this is about to be pitch number 56. He's thrown 29 in the inning. So Michael Busch now to third, and now Seiya Suzuki only needs to at least get it deep enough for the Cubs to score 4, and that could be enough for them to go 3-1 in this portion of the season series. Now for the Brewers, I don't think you worry about the grand scheme of things when they've been so hot lately. But you just don't want to see your young pitcher unravel and not throw strikes. When he throws located in the zone, that's really all you need. You don't have to overthink anything. Seiya waiting on the 0-2. This one toward the hands. He tried to back him away, but that caught enough for the inside black. That's a great pitch. as he tried to lock back in. 94, more of a slider. Again, this slider looks like a slow fastball, but with just a little bit of movement. But between that 103 and the 94 that we see can be enough of a distraction to try to not lock in on as long as he locates. PCA, last hope in the third. 91 and a change will be fouled straight back in amongst the screen. But Michael Busch, the man of the hour right now, a 3-run double. Took care of Casey, Swanson, Shaw, all score. Fastball followed straight back for Pete Crow. This one skipped in the dirt. No place to put him there for Busch, but it didn't get far enough away for Will.i.am. So we'll keep it going at 1-1. Mizorowski's pitch count was good until it wasn't. This is pitch number 61. Already getting loose in the Brewers bullpen are a couple. We saw that shot. We didn't get the names though. 100 up top. This was a ball that PCA offers, makes it 1-2. Mizorowski trying to get out of this, but the damage has been done. It's 3-1 Cubs. Hitting a ground out after walking the bases loaded was Ray. Long look in now for Mizorowski. And Pete Crow just dug back in, so pitch clock down to 10. Mizorowski gets the sign and sets, and PCA doesn't offer on the pitch upstairs at 99. 2 2/3, 1 hit, 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, 3 walks. The pitch count and score Chiron's got a little wonky here for Mizorowski. 2-2. 100 followed straight back in amongst the screen. I think as this 20-year-old continues to figure it out, if he can start to mix in a couple of other pitches that he feels comfortable about, maybe a splitter, a cutter, some of those other things that can make him that much more dangerous, because right now it looks like the Cubs are only sitting on heat. 85, knuckle curve, not close whatsoever. And Pete, if he does walk, he's assuming an automatic threat to steal from. So what's PCA going to do? I think Mizorowski's got to go fastball. This is 92 on a slider, just caught the upper reaches of the black. Full count pitch for about the 10th time of the third inning for Jacob. That's why the pitch count's at 66 through 2 2/3. He lets the clock go down to 1 as he's done. 100 blows him away. PCA throws the bat in disgust, but Michael Busch has done the damage. It's a 3-run RBI double, and the Cubs have a 3-1 lead after 3.
My fear of leakage and skin irritation felt like a nightmare. But since I switched to Tenna Sensitive Care, sleep brings me joy. It's skin comfort for Tenna, the world's leading incontinence brand. Take summer in gear at the Nissan and do summer sale.
To the road, that was new standard power from CRV in Tucson. Frontier with a standard V6, unlike Tacoma, and an IIHS Top Safety 6 Plus like Pathfinder or Murano. It's no wonder why J.D. Power named Nissan #1 in new vehicle quality. Hurry in to the Nissan end of summer sales event. Now get 0% APR financing for 6 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue, Pathfinder, or Murano. What a night!
We're going to get set to go to the fourth, and this game is completely different now. I don't think I've ever seen a line like this, but there's 4 runs scored in this game so far as we go top 4. Cubs up 3-1, and there's 4 runs on 1 hit.
In the second, and scored Blake Perkins' ground out. There's a strike. And a great throw in for a strike to curve 1-2.
As we get set to check back in, again, my apologies. It was a bad time for a fiber bar bite. 1-2. As it's 4, 5, and 6 due up here in the fourth for the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, they don't have any hits yet. That was the ground up from the bases loaded from Ray, who's got new life now after Mizorowski really struggled in that third. And Christian Yelich will take a changeup, follow it straight back. Again, his first time through the order was a walk and nothing to think about. And that's kind of how it started there for the Brewers. It was Vaughn who flew out, but you had Yelich, Siegler, and Terrain all walk. This is right back up the middle of the box. Dansby Swanson tossed over to Bush and 1 up, 1 down in the fourth. Well, Colin Ray, after that second, you think he's going to be able to lock back in, because I talked about it openly with Mizorowski. Again, 34-2 with 17 walks. And for Ray, who's got 3 in this game, that'd be 36. But 36 walks in comparison to 123 and 2/3 innings, not going to be too many. So you would think he's going to be able to find the zone for the rest of the game, and he got through a little bit of the command issues in that second. Now it's for the Brewers to score some runs here. As Andrew Vaughn, the former White Sox man, takes a fastball that busts him inside and make it 1-1. So Ray with pitch number 52 against Vaughn. This is right up the middle of the box, a little bit too far for Dansby Swanson to get. Hit. That'll be against Andrew Vaughn, and then leave it up to Anthony Ziegler. So again, Caleb Durbin, who would normally play in that spot, going to get the day off for Pat Murphy's squad. So for Ziegler, this is game number 27. Doesn't have any home runs yet on the year. 217 average, 6 walks, 10 strikeouts for the young man. This is Colin Ray. Going to try to induce a ground ball. 94. That he's just going right after the hitters here. Again, it's not 102, 103, but you still got to be able to command your fastball. I think everything, and any starting pitcher will tell you this. Again, it's just me with cerebral palsy, but if you're not commanding your fastball, that starts with everything. You're not going to have a good day. 99 right to PCA, got a ton of speed. So he takes several steps in and makes the catch. And 97 miles an hour on the exit velocity, but for PCA, that's a short jog for him, able to make that catch. He covers up elite ground. Out of 100 percentile as far as his speed, I would say it's 99 to 100 right there. And he takes great routes to the baseball as well. So really can't hurt when you got PCA. You can kind of get to everything. In top 4. Here's a pitch that was excellent for Ray on a curveball, but does not get the call against Terang. It didn't miss. He just didn't get the call. So the second baseman's going to bat in the 7th spot in the lineup today as Terang then takes another knuckle curve, this one low. That'll be 2-0 count. Pitch number 56 for Ray. Again, he got the runner at first, which is Andrew Vaughn after the base hit. That's the first for the Brewers in this ballgame, top 4. 95 as he tries to work his way back in the count, bottom side black. I'm not sure what they're showing on the Cubs side, but I think they had some other guys on their phone and the laptop that couldn't find any internet connection, and they were making fun of that. So Sometimes when all the stuff goes down on the screen and you can't find the strike zone and can't see some of the pictures, sometimes they just don't have the internet in the broadcast truck, and that does happen. 2-2 count, knuckle curve followed straight back. Ray trying to get the job done here in a clean fourth. 93, and we'll do it toward left field. Give it a courtesy look, but this slice is out of play as Cubs fans then fight for the ball. That was about 5 inches foul. When we get toward the bottom 4 in this commercial break, I'll give you some of the scoring update across the league. Wanted to get this game in today because it's 2 teams that are pretty darn good. And this is good to watch so far, but it was just a little unnerving to watch Mizorowski unravel as badly as he did in that previous bottom half. Pitch number 60 for Ray. 85. Hit well toward the right field side. Jumping, leaping for Casey. Gets his way to third, and he will get the stop sign there. So runners at second and third with 2 outs. And the Brewers might be 1 hit away from tying this game. That was hit quite hard and alongside for Bryce Terang. And Owen Casey tried to give that a courtesy dive and toward the ivy at 368, and he was able to find it. Now, sometimes if that ball gets stuck in there, they will make the runners go back, but it did bounce back into play, and it looks like that right side elbow no worse for wear. So Vaughn at third, Terang at second. Blake Perkins will take 94. A little bit high from center cut, but still follows it straight back. And Perkins trying to really come through in a leverage spot with 2 outs. Ray trying to shut it down. It's a 3-1 Cubs lead with runners at third and second for the Brewers. They're 1 hit away from tying this game. Blake Perkins, 94. This time he looked at it. Fastball in the same spot. Top of the black, make it 0-2. Ray's got 7 pitches that he can throw. What's he most comfortable with here? Here's an 0-2. As he gets a soft look over to third, and this is a fastball that goes way out of the hands. So primarily fastball, but splitter, slider, sink, sweep, curve, cut. In between at 96 that he's topped up today, which is more than baseball savant, to 80. 81. This time on a sweeper. Will miss down below the knees. 2-2. Is Perkins trying to get back into this at bat again, making sure that he doesn't want to leave those ducks on the pond. This will be a big time for the Brewers. 2-2. Swing and a miss on a knuckle curve. Colin Ray gets it out with runners at second and third.
Sorry, I had to step away from the space there. The Chiefs to trade Sky Moore to the 49ers, and some Chiefs fans were in the space, so I wanted to talk with them about it.
What's your thoughts on it?
And you know what? He caught a ball for a touchdown in the first Super Bowl against the Eagles, which they would ultimately win. He then went, he never found his footing. So a change of scenery could save his career. But you know what? I'm happy for the kid. Go get him.
That's the way it's got to be sometimes. And Ian, you profiled it last week as far as the Chiefs being much more healthy across the board and be raring to go for another opportunity at Lombardi. And I think you said it right. And we'll see what happens. Commercial break might be a little bit too long. I might cut into the play-by-play, but until I actually see it, I can't call it. As it is, we go bottom 8. We'll give you some scores and progress. The Fish have a 5-2 lead on the Cards. It is Mets and another game against the Mets. It's 5-4, top 9. Mets have the last at bats here as they're just going to get that one going. Braves up 1-0 on the White Sox. Yankees continue to play excellent baseball since the return of Aaron Judge. They're up 2-0 on the Rays. Athletics and Twins tied at dose. The Royals have a 3-2 lead on the Rangers. And then we'll give you the finals after this. Carson Kelly, as we're starting bottom 4. Who wants it? The cameraman was trying to find it. That is Sal Frelick, no problem in right. They just didn't track that ball very well, did the camera crew for the Cubs. But Sal Frelick will find it. Here we are on the top of the lineup. So Jacob Mizorowski back out there. Carson Kelly on the first pitch flies out to right on a 4-seam at 97. Again, as we said with Nico Hoerner, he's a lead back-to-ball skills. And Jacob Mizorowski's got to take those 3 walks from the third and flush it, because when he gave up that 3-run double to Michael Busch, that was pretty much all his undoing. He couldn't find the zone. Again, more of the similar type here to start this bottom pitch flyout. Is this one toward the dome of Hoerner and it backs him away. Waits on the 2-0. This will be pitch number 70. So it's not going to be a long outing for Jacob. 97 on the bottom portion, just below the black. Make it 2-1. As Hoerner calls for time. Again, for Nico, he's moving a little bit in this order. He's probably more of an 8-hole hitter where Craig Counsell has him, but when they adjusted and took Kyle Tucker out, putting him up at second, it kind of changed the lineup look. 97, excellent pitch there, one of his better ones. Again, for me, as I look at this for Jake, take those 102s and 103s, and if you place 96 and 97, it can be just as effective. I think that's a young pitcher we're going to find his way through the major leagues. 98, right to Turan. Wait for Vaughn to get to the bag, and Hoerner in no hustle to get the first. It'll be easy first 2 away. As Owen Casey was part of that walk parade, and alongside for Dansby Swanson and Matt Shaw in that bottom of the third. Matt Shaw had an 11-pitch walk in the number 9 part of it, and that's what kind of started it for Michael Busch. He got a fastball that was middle-high leverage at like 98, and he did not miss it. He put it straight back up center field. 85 on the knuckle curve was a perfect pitch. Call the ball. Pretty good-looking prospect here for the Cubs in his 6th major league game. 98 again will be missed down low, make it 2-0. So it should be 1-1, but Mizorowski hasn't thrown enough strikes to always get those calls, and that's the way it works. He's got a slow chew on that gum as he gets the sign from William. 97, just a couple inches off the plate, make it 3-0. And Owen Casey is a threat to walk 2 straight times. See if we're just getting an obligatory take right here. Indeed, it will be 97. Will split the plate. Again, you got to throw over at least a couple more times here to throw strikes for Mizorowski, for Casey to even have anything to think about. So it's a smart take always there when it's 3-0. I don't want to get too much out of your swing plane. As 97 was a little bit below the knees, but he follows it straight back, make it a full count. Dansby Swanson's going to be next. As the umpire behind the plate's going to get his gear all set back up. 92, a little bit off speed there on the slider. We'll get him. So Mizorowski able to make sure that he a good inning and a bounce back for him. We'll on the 4th. Cubs still up 3-1.
So a quick update. The Royals and Rangers are in the bottom of the 5th, and the Royals still lead 3-2. In the meantime, Jesus, the Marlins are taking it to the Cardinals. Wow. And the Nationals are beating. They're beating the Mets.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that we last profiled. And Ian, I think it's officially over. I see 3 outs on the scorecard. I think the Nets just won this game.
Yep, and the Braves just beat the White Sox. Let's see, the Rays are okay. They're not getting obliterated by the Yankees this time, but they're still getting shut out.
You know, we went last week across the MLB wraparound because the Dodgers and the Padres game got out of hand, and I asked you specifically how do the Rays win with their lineup, and you gave me the response that was pretty simple. You said you don't, and you're absolutely right. The Rays just continue to go through free fall. Again, as you said, it's only 2-0, but really, if the Rays go down 3-4 runs, Ian, it just feels like an automatic loss.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so right now it looks like, you know, I'll say this. I will forever love, Salvi will forever be loved here.
Yes.
But dear Lord, when I say Salvi is like the dude that does not care, that does not have standards, he will shoot a shot with every girl or woman that walks in his path. That is Salvi with nearly every pitch that is thrown.
So forget strike zone discipline. I want to hit dingers. Right.
No, it's not even dingers. It's just I just want to hit the ball.
I just want to make contact and I want to swing big. 2-1 against Ortiz, as we'll go through the top of the order for the 3rd time around for the Brewers. Again, the Michael Busch 3-run double in the 3rd is the big blow, and that's where we are right now. That's why the Cubs have a 3-1 lead. That's an excellent knuckle curve there for Ray, as this is about to be pitch number 70. Not a bad ball game so far, but Colin Ray against his former team has really done a good job so far throughout this game, and we'll see if that continues. 92 and toward the hands, fall down the third base line. Pull back up the pitching line one more time. As we go through Ray, it's 4 innings so far, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. And for Mizorowski, as we wait on the 2-2, this is easy thrown over to Dansby Swanson, and Michael Busch able to collect that off the hop, 1 up, 1 down to start the 5th. For 5 strikeouts, but 3 walks turned into 3 earned runs on 1 hit for the Michael Busch 3-run double. And that's really all there is for that. So Ian and I will go through some of the other finals once I get to the bottom part of this inning. But we've already told you some of the ones that have come across. I mentioned this in the YouTube question to have a longer postseason run. And the one vote says the Brewers. I could be swayed to pick the Cubs, depending on the rest of their starting rotation as well. But for the Brewers starting rotation, that's where it's elite. And you got Trevor McGill on the back end bullpen with a rebay. You can do some damage. And for the Cubs, I mean, you can see what they got if I'm looking through part of my notes. I saw Daniel Palencia the other day throws 102, 103. And alongside the former Ray, Andrew Kittredge, Caleb Theobar, Drew Pomerantz, Taylor Rogers, who they got, I believe, from the Giants. So they're a pretty good bullpen as well. It's just whether or not you can get some hits against these type of teams. Offer at the bunt was Frelick, and they do. So Sal Frelick, who can do a little bit of everything with the bat, is struggling a little bit in this game, more so than I would be used to seeing. 2-2 against Ray. 94, and now as soon as I say that, he throws a shot past Swanson. and play the left field with a Hap Daddy, Ian Happ. So solid single there for Sal, and that'll be Isaac Collins toward Dansby Swanson, toward the hole, right through shortstop, a little toward third, and it goes right through the hole. So we'll figure out the Saturday side as you rain. My plan was for the Tigers and Royals because, again, I'll be by the Lonesome on Saturday, so it should be a good opportunity to get some work in, or maybe at least do a wrap around 94. Bottom side black, make it 0-1. Again, that's what you want to get toward the lefties. Little inside run on the righties. You mix in as well. That's what makes you a great pitcher. You got those mixed, but you got to throw them all for strikes. 80 miles an hour on a knuckle curve. That one's a little bit high, make it 1-1. Waiting on the 1-1 pitch is Isaac Collins. Again, he wasn't called up not that long ago and throughout the season, about 101 games played, but just a few weeks into the season for the 28-year-old. And then you got William Contreras catching, Christian Yelich. Still got a pretty good middle of the order. Not a ton of home run power, but a lot of stolen bases there for station to station, but you'd like to see them drive the ball a little bit. Swing and a miss for Collins. He got nothing but air on that knuckle curve. He could have swung 3 times. He never would have hit it. That was not even close. It's one of the better ones of the day there for Ray. But at American Family Field, where the Milwaukee Brewers play, in that back end of the swing actually caught the piece of the catcher, Carson Kelly, hit him the left side of his mask. 81 does not get the call up top on a changeup. It was a fraction of an inch off the plate. But at American Family Field, it's not deep. It's pretty uniform across the board from left to center to right. So you would think the Brewers would have more home runs, but they just don't have that type of team. Here goes the runner at second. Not going to matter, is that the ball 4 is outside of a fastball. So Collins going to get a walk, and Sal Frelick will move to second. So Colin Ray, that's his 4th free pass of the day, and then we'll leave it up to William Contreras. Again, Cubs will give a courtesy look out of the bullpen. Don't think they're going to do anything to try to move Ray just yet with 1 out, top 5, but they will give him a breath and see what they want to do here with runners at first and second on 1 out. So as we're still in the mound meeting, I'm going to go across the other part of the MLB scoreboard again. Ian mentioned this 3-2 lead for the Royals. Our game 3-1. Cubs have the lead. The Rockies came off of a sweep of the Arizona Diamondbacks and beat the Dodgers yesterday. They're up 2-0, bottom 3. They're still 36-90, but they're playing better.
And if I'm looking at the Blue Jays just lost the series to the Pirates.
They sure did.
So we're looking at the...
My Blue Jays comparison to you, Ian, is what I told you months ago. And we were right when it ended up about the Washington Capitals. I think the Blue Jays are going to be like the Caps. What I mean by that is I don't see a long postseason run for them.
Well, at the very least, it looks like it will be the ALDS because
they could get a bye.
Houston,
yeah.
Because Houston does not know what direction they want to go right now, even though they're going to the playoffs. How far they want to go.
Yeah, and Yordan Alvarez is still out, and they're waiting from a couple other pieces to kind of figure it out. I mean, to see Framber Valdez give up 6 runs in the first inning against the Tigers. Now, I mentioned the Tigers have been slapping around pretty good from the wild card to this and there now. As this is ground ball. Try to get a double play turn from Horner. And they do. The Cubs turn the double play. Ray gets out there from a walk and a base hit. And the Brewers turned away quietly here in the 5th. But I was going to say, And alongside for Valdez, his last few times out against the Tigers, I mean, he's gone 7-7-9, giving up 2 runs or less, but not today. So Joe Espada is looking for answers, and as you said, Houston trying to find it. I guess they're thankful that the Mariners are falling apart by the wayside and that the Red Sox are starting to lose some games as well. So we'll continue to monitor that as the season continues. So I know when Ian jumps back in, we're in the middle of a commercial break as we're going to go bottom 5 again. Milwaukee turned away with runners at first and second. But I was looking and I was listening to it because I had to admittedly go to the bank. I got to get prepared for the move and everything else. Got to get the modem, cables, other things. I got to buy some stands for the TV and the computer and get the things moved. But when I'm listening on the radio on the ticket locally over here, they're talking about Micah Parsons. And I believe the Green Bay Packers had offered a couple of firsts and something else and alongside for Micah, but Jerry Jones and the Cowboys said no. What would it take? I know they were talking about for the Lions fans. What would it take to pair him with Aiden Hutchinson? What would the Lions have to give up, and what would the Cowboys want? Because I saw that video from Tree, what was it, last week, when he talked about the Jerry Jones experience and the art or lack thereof of negotiation, of trying to lowball players and then end up giving them more money. Micah Parsons isn't someone that you want to screw around with.
No, and good Lord, the thing, this is what makes, I am extremely biased, but I think you may agree, Brett Veach, as an all-around general manager, is the best in the business right now. Howie Roseman has him is above him when it comes to drafting, but when it comes to drafting and manipulating the cap and signing players early,
Right.
Veach, in my opinion, is the best in all of that.
Yeah, it goes a long way to setting up your team and getting everything done. You're absolutely correct. Dansby Swanson will pop out. Again, for all the football stuff, I got to lean toward you and Alec and Cooper because I just don't know enough, and I'm not going to claim to. But when you do what the Cowboys have done, you've put in a position where you're already paid Dak Prescott. You got all the money to CeeDee Lamb, and some of these other guys. And as I said, at least with Micah, that's a generational guy. I mean, the Lions would be chomping at the bit like him to pair with Aiden Hutchinson because they want to try to win a Super Bowl, let alone get to one. They never got there. That could absolutely be a missing piece. And if he's unhappy and he wants out, you better either give him what he wants or you get what you need to get it done quickly. As this one goes back to Shaw, and he will put it straight back to Perkins, 2 up, 2 down to start the bottom of the 5 for the Cubs. Nick Mears is the latest pitcher to come out of the bullpen as Mizorowski went through 4. And his line, although he only gave up 1 hit, was not pretty. Those 3 walks turned into 3 runs. So Nick Mears will now pitch to Michael Busch. This will be the 3rd time through the order. And his 3 is dead center, cut on a curveball. He does not swing. If he gets a chance to get that again, this will be absolutely into the seats. 259 average, 24 home runs, 73 RBI. You've had a 3 from this game alone. As he's the player of the game right now, does not offer a knuckle curve below the dirt. Make it 1-1. If he does reach, Ian Happ would be next. Tigers will get tomorrow alongside with the Royals, or not the Royals. Royals actually play tomorrow, I believe. Tigers will get the day off tomorrow before they play the Royals at 3 Comerica Park, and then next weekend they will be in Kaufman for a weekend series. So it could be back-to-back weekend series in which I go Saturdays cover the Tigers and Royals. I think one is going to be a 6:10 start, and one will be a 7:10 start. Here's a 1-2 count. Michael Busch, 96, split the plate. See you later. Did not swing, got handcuffed, I guess. And Nick Mears does his job. 1-2-3 in the fifth. It's still 3-1. So again, I'll just do this while we're in the middle of the half, as it's Rays Angels at 9:30 on MLB Network, about 5 minutes away. Same thing will be Giants Padres. Will be the two late games that you got. So if you want to watch some Reds, at least that'd be the one I would stick to, because the Angels don't really give you much. They got to get that series. Ian mentioned this: Pirates win 2-1 against the Blue Jays. That gives the number one seed the Tigers now. I think they have a 2-game advantage there. Yes, they do. So that was huge for the Pirates. The Phillies, an 11-run, 20-hit attack against the M's. They just can't get out of the road fast enough. I'm going to pull back up their schedule here. I believe they have a 6-game homestand coming up, but it's not going to be easy because you got the A's with Jacob Wilson and Nick Kurtz and the like. Again, Brent Rooker, they score some runs like the White Sox is on the other portion of the American League. You can't mess around with them. And then the San Diego Padres, who want to chomp at the bit after getting slapped around by the Athletics, and Padres at home. And then you go on the road to Cleveland, Tampa, Atlanta, then St. Louis City, Houston, Colorado, Dodgers. So there are some winnable series in there for the M's, but as the Cooper sent the text to me yesterday after I said the Tigers will take care of it, which they did, they just couldn't get a win against the Phillies. If the Mariners can't get out of their own way, they could find themselves out of a playoff spot if the Astros pick it up a little bit. Now, I'm going to call this game in a minute, but Friday, September 19th, Saturday the 20th, and Sunday the 21st. That is a week after NHL 26 comes out. So I should be good to go as far as playing any of those. Won't get stuck with any games. I think I might lock into that Houston series with Seattle on the late end of September, because that might decide who gets in and who doesn't. So Colin Ray on a 3-1 does not get the call against Christian Yelich. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 due up in the top of the 6 as the clock goes down to 1, and Christian Yelich has his second walk of the ball game. And for my 4 eyes and what I'm seeing here with Christian Yelich, I just don't think Colin Ray wants to throw him any strikes. That's what we've seen for the most part. So at least 100 games into a season, the Cubs were 79-45. In 1970, 72-32 from July 31st. In September 17, 1944, 96-43. So late portions of the year for the Cubs, generally pretty good for Go Cubs Go, but the World Series aspirations up to a few years ago, when they finally broke that curse, had not been very good. They've had some good teams. They've had some pitching woes, that's some injuries and things like that. You think of what Kerry Wood and Price and some of those other guys is it's not some injuries there that you don't want to see happen, but that's how it goes if you're a Cubs fan. 93. Can of corn. Tornico Horner got a ton of range. He makes a pretty spectacular catch. Do for you with a good glove. Andrew Vaughn would have easily had a shot blooped toward right center field, but Nico Horner covered a ton of ground. That felt like Jose Iglesias in his prime for the Tigers after that trade from the Red Sox. I'd seen that a lot. Again, when you mixed in between Iglesias and Kinsler, I enjoyed that portion of the Tigers as well. Pitch number 95 for Colin Ray. So he's going to get through 100, I would imagine, and then it's going to be all she wrote there for Craig Counsell and Colin Ray, but pretty good outing so far. He's only given up one run. Hasn't really given up any hits. Here's a bunt. Face for Shaw. Plays it off the bounce. Matt Shaw gets it done. Two excellent plays for the Cubs on defense. Nico Horner on a shallow fly, and Matt Shaw took a few extra steps off of third base, guns it barehanded, off the bounce to Bush, who picks it off the hop. Excellent work there. They get Ziegler trying to bunt. No, sir. So they will not give Colin Ray the extra to get to 100. His day is done with a runner at second, 5 2/3 of just one run, although that could be charged in if it reaches. We'll step aside for a